Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I am glad you're here today. And today we're gonna do the stuff that I really like, which is an ordinary rock. Will it become a gemstone? And in this case, I think it will. And as you see right here, we have what I call an ordinary rock. Of course, it's not extremely ordinary. So let's take a look at it. What we have here, okay, is veins of calcite, very fine veins, running through a piece of limestone. Now this is a particular type of limestone that we have here in Pennsylvania. And I mean, you can't throw a dead dingo in Pennsylvania without hitting limestone. Actually, I pulled this out of the driveway about an hour ago. Yeah, this is what we use to line our driveways with. And this is one of the first type of stones I ever cut. And you can see, you know, it's sort of okay, not extraordinary, but, well, when you cut it, this certain type of limestone, it turns extraordinary. So we're going to take this over to the wheel, get on it, and I'm going to show you how extraordinary something this commonplace looking rock can be. Okay, so meet you over at the wheel. Okay, we got water going. We got the machine humming. Hum, 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 hum. Okay. Now you can see when the water hits this, boy, that turns a different color, doesn't it? It sure does. Now, this is going to be the back. So I'm going to start by smoothing this back down a little bit. Okay. And yeah, that's a lot of goop coming off of there. I'm going to have to turn the water up a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy on his back quite yet because it's going to be a little bit smaller when I'm done with it. Alrighty. Oh, that sort of changed, didn't it? Yeah, it did. So maybe you can start to see what I'm talking about. So, well, first we got to get an edge. So I'm going to start by getting a setting edge on this stone. And I'm thinking this is going to be big enough that we won't need a dot stick for it. Yeah. Now, and this particular type of stone is not very hard. And the calcite is definitely not very hard. But it is kind of sloppy, as you can see. Now, I found out about this because when I first started doing stones, I needed something to practice on, and, you know, landscape rock and basically any rock that I found lying around, it was, well, that was what you practice with. And I found that some of these stones, in particular this one type of limestone, came out with this nice dark color when it was polished. And it would hold a polish knife. And being easy to work, well, I worked a lot of it. And I discovered, hey, this stuff's pretty nice if you cut it a certain way. That's just more of, you know, you got to go looking for beauty in things you don't expect it in. Okay, we've got that, basically the setting edge pretty much done. And you can see that stone is starting to take on a whole new appearance. And I think I'm going to go for an oval shape. So let's start by shaping it from the back to get a nice oval look. Maybe it'll be oval, maybe it'll be circular. Don't know which for sure yet. Right now we're going to go with the oval-y shape. As you can see, it's pretty soft. So it's not a hard stone to work. But it does come out nice, even though it makes a heck of a mess down there. Okay, we've got sort of an oval shape here. But I'm not going to go too much farther until I start taking this top down. Because as you can see, there's veins running through there, and I want to maximize the effect of the veins. So that, where the veins run, is going to determine how I shape it, what I take away and what I don't. I'm working pretty aggressively on this because it's soft, and I can. So if you're out somewhere and you find a stone, I'm just getting some of this junk out of the wheel because it gets gooey. You find a stone and you think, I wonder how that would cut. I advise you take it home and cut it. Because unless you look at stuff and cut them, you won't know if it is going to turn out nice. It may not, but it may just surprise you. But you won't know unless you cut it. Okay, let's take a look. Focus. Alright, see what we got here? There's calcite veins running all over the place, which is making a pretty nice pattern. And it's sort of like a kintsugi shell. When you get one like this that has the little veins running through it, sort of like a kintsugi shell, you've got to cut away until you find a pattern that you like. So it's sort of like you got to keep looking at it. All right, now this side's nicely shaped. This side's sort of running out of pattern here, so I'm going to take more of this away to get that oval shape to match the other side. Because there doesn't seem to be as much vein stuff running through there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Take that edge down. You might say, why are you wasting your time on this when it's just a very common rock? Well, maybe a very common rock end up being a nice looking gemstone whether you know it or not, or realize it or not. Like I said, you won't know until you cut it. You know, what about the first person that picked up a piece of lapis and was like, well, that's pretty. I wonder if I could make it be prettier and shine it up. If they'd have never done that, we'd never be doing it now. Or any of the gemstones that don't actually look beautiful fresh out of the ground. Or if somebody would have never bothered, then we'd never be cutting them. Until somebody decides, I'm going to take a few minutes and see how this looks. I mean, if you believe in God, you know, God hides stuff, pretty things inside of rough-looking stuff. And if you don't believe in God and are just into nature, well, guess what? Nature does the same thing. So whatever your belief system, God or nature, focus, you can find stuff like this. Now that's pretty much, it's prettier, but it's not exceptional right now. And that's because we just have to make it exceptional. So I think I'm ready to go to the finer wheel. Let's take a quick look here. Focus. We got all kinds of squirrelies and gnarlies and stuff flying through there. And all we need to do is get some more refinement to that. Okay, now we got some water going. Okay, I think this one's actually big enough I may not have to dot this. Okay, I'm gonna get that setting edge. And you sort of got to be careful with this because this stone is really soft. It's soft and a little bit brittle, but even with that, that consistency seems to hold up pretty good to polishing, even on smaller pieces. Trust me, I've polished a lot of this stuff. Okay, focus. Okay, I'm gonna check the look here. And yeah, I'm using a light touch with that. I can't look at it against the black because it just blends in too good. Putting a pretty high girdle on this. And I probably could use doffing this. And I think I can get away with a decent stone without doffing it. So let's take a look here. We got semi-dry. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice without stone, without the stick. Blech. As you can see, it's drying off and it's getting gray again, but not as gray as it was just raw. So I'm going to run this edge. Let me double check this edge here. Yeah, setting edge looks pretty good. So I am going to just run over this a little bit more before I get to the polishing wheels, or I should say the soft wheels. You can see that dome is pretty even across there. I think we can actually go to the next wheel now, which is the wheel of the bad valve. And of course, the valve has not been fixed. And at this point, why should it be? Alright, now this stuff's soft enough that you're going to actually take away a good bit with the soft wheel. So I'm going to have to use a light touch on it. It may not look like I'm using a light touch, but I am using a light touch, trust me. So light that I dropped it. As you can see, it's starting to get a richer, dark, blackish color, which is almost like a super dark gray. When I do a little more on here, I'm going to wipe it off and see what the facet situation is looking like. And I'm going to try the ZAM on this one. I know cerium oxide works pretty well. I do get some undercutting with it, but I'm thinking that this ZAM may do better or maybe just as well. Let's take a look at this now. Focus. Look at those. Look at that. Look at that. We've got veins running through there. We've got different shades of veins. This is just, in my opinion, this going from what that rock looked like before to what can easily be classified as a gemstone. It's pretty darn amazing. I've set these stones in silver, I've set these stones in brass, and they are nice looking stones. Okay, focus. Let me see if I can get a little bit of cleanness on here. Focus. Okay, as you can see, it's drying out. It's still gray, but it's a little bit darker gray than it was over there. So actually, I think we're ready for the 1200 grit. This stone, you know, it is soft. It is super soft, and that's one of the reasons I think the ZAM will really work well for it. Okay, we've got lots of water going here. And I want to make sure I get the edges really well. There's one thing about this, it really shows up. If you don't get it all smoothed off, it really shows up in the finished product. That's why I probably should adopt it. I know, I probably should adopt it. But for the sake of brevity, and to see how it works out, I decided not to. Curiosity's sake, I should say. And this stone, I may not do the back, just so we can compare what it shines up to as to what it looks like normally. All right. As you can see, that is pulling a shine on the dry spot already. And I think we got the facets out, any that's there. That didn't look wavy at all. Okay, so I think we are ready to focus and then hit it with the ZAM. So meet me at the desk and we're gonna ZAM it. Alrighty, well, got the stone dried off now. And before we hit it with ZAM, let's take a look. Alright, would you have thought that stone would have looked like this after it was polished? And it's not even completely polished yet. And that is remarkable. That is a remarkable transformation. Of course, there's a little bit of dampness on here from my fingers, and it keeps changing the color. But we are going to set up the wheel of ZAM and see how she polishes. And here we have the wheel of ZAM, or the drill of ZAM, the loud drill of loudiness. Alrighty, so I'm going to turn off the sound, and we're going to get ZAMing. Okay, I'm going to remove the wheel of ZAM and the dust of ZAM and give it a slight polish with a clean buff. And ta-da! Shall we zoom in on that? Look at what we got. I mean, that is... Here's the backside. Here's sort of what we had before, even just with the 80 grit wheel. And there's what it is. I mean, I hope you can see the veins of calcite through the glare. Well, you get a stone with even bigger veins of calcite, that looks amazing. That black on white. That I love these stones. You know, and for just a piece of driveway shale, this stone is a win. So if you like the video, hit the button, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. And you'll see when I am doing this stuff that I do with random rocks or gemstones or random rocks that are gemstones and nobody really knows about it. I mean, look at the polish on that. You can see the lights and everything in there. I can almost see me. Hey, there I am. Right there. Right there. Right there. Yep. No, that's the camera. But if I could get my face over there better, I could see myself in it. So, thanks for spending some time with me, and have a good evening.